Alice and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from Melbourne, Australia. I think I forgot to introduce myself in my last video. I was too busy doing my shout outs, but nonetheless I got that out today. So today's card I've actually got for you is from a colour Inkspiration challenge 105. So let me show you the colours, guys. Oh my goodness, I got really excited. So we've got olive green, Fresh Freesia, and Mango Melody, and Very Vanilla. So that was the colour that we had to use for our card. So I haven't actually made it, so I'll be making it on the fly today, but I have got an idea of what I want to make because I am using a Mojo Monday card sketch. So if I've got an image, I'll put it in here now. So like I said, I've been loving using card sketches lately. I am a bit of a lull for some of my creating, but using card sketches is a really fun idea. It's still to, you know, use a layout that you like, but you use your own ideas and your own colour and paper and ink and whatever you've got. So it just helps me with my card making. So let's move these colours out of the way for now. Actually, I might leave them up here so you can sort of see what we're working with. You can sort of see that, can't you? And I'll still be relatively in the way. So with our stamp set, I'm actually using Sweet as a Peach bundle. So I haven't actually really used the peaches. I've only used the Happy Birthday sentiment from this stamp set. So I'm really excited to use this for the first time today. And I'm also using the, I don't think I'll actually be using the matching die. Oh, I will be. I did cut out some flowers from that. So let me bring in all the elements. I have pre-cut them just to save us a bit of time in the prep work. So I'm using a Fresh Freesia card base, and I'm making this a top folding card. So that's just a piece of cardstock that I've just cut in half along the portrait way. Don't worry, as always, I'll have the measurements down in the description box below, and I'll also have on my blog post some pictures and instructions on how I created the cards. So that's our card base today, and that, like I said before, we use Very Vanilla. I must confess I don't use Very Vanilla often. I always tend to go for the basic white, so I am excited to sort of go outside of my comfort zone and use Very Vanilla. So I've actually gone, this will be our card front. So as you can see, I've actually run this through my die Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine with the Stitch Greenery die. I love it. It just adds this extra texture to paper, which is quite fun. So I've got that piece, and I've got a another piece of Very Vanilla, which I've cut out using the dies from the Stitch So Sweetly, I think it was called, the second largest die there. I've got a piece of old olive cardstock as well. Again, I'll have dimensions and measurements down below. I've just got a card insert layer, which is just Very Vanilla as well. And I've also got my Mango Melody element. I've just got a strip there. And I did sort of was a bit frugal with paper. I did cut out my little flowers from there because we'll be covering that up so you won't see that. And using the beautiful Fresh Freesia vellum of also pre-cut. Not sure if you can see that. Let me put this on the envelope. You can sort of see, not sure if you can see the shimmer. Hang on, let me just bring in a piece there. So if I put that, I'm not sure if you guys can see the shimmer there, but it's just gorgeous vellum as well. So I've first time playing with this as well. So let's see if the card turns out. I should have probably made one beforehand, but I wanted to create with you guys. So that's already pre-cut as well. So there are my elements. So let's just figure out the first thing we'll do is we'll do our stamping first and get that out of the way because that's when I tend to get the most messiest. So let's just move anything that can be destroyed by my inky fingers. By the way, she's a really good YouTuber as well. Check out her videos. I'll be stamping my old olive piece, and I'll be stamping the peach on that. So let's get these guys out of the way, and we'll probably stamp the insert of the card as well. Okay, so I'm just bringing in my foam mat. Again, with photopolymer, you do want to sort of have a nice cushiony bottom. And I'll just pop these here. And I'm just going to move these little guys over to the side before I lose them. I'm not sure how I'm going to use them. I might not use all of them. So, but I've just cut them all. It does come in a die that cuts out 3 flowers at the same time, which is quite handy. Okay, so I actually won't be stamping in the Mango Melody or the Fresh Freesia actually. So let me just move these guys out of the way. I'll be using old olive. Okay, so you just sort of see me use the 3 little flowers, and I'm just going to create a bit of extra interest on my old olive piece of cardstock. So you'll see me sort of stamp on and stamp off just to create some different textures and images on here. I won't need to stamp the whole entire piece, so only the sort of the top bit and the bottom bit, which will be peeking through. So I sort of really creating my own sort of designer series paper. So whenever you don't have a piece of designer series paper in the colour that you want, you can just grab a piece of cardstock, grab some stamps, and just stamp it in the different colours. I'm actually using old olive for this one. So trying to be really random, but you can see it's proving a little bit difficult. But I think I overstamped it, but that's fine. So the stamping of that piece done, and I'll show you. All right. How it's going to look later. I've got a bit of ink there, but I'm not too worried because that'll be hidden later. Okay, so I'm just going to grab our branch piece here. So I'm just going to try to position where I want to place it. And once I'm happy with my positioning, I did stamp it on using the old olive. So the great thing with photopolymer is you can sort of see how well you inked it up. So I did stamp my image here, but when you can sort of see there is a little bit of patchiness, but I don't mind. It is sort of part of the effect. But I think the first time you do use a photopolymer stamp, it might be worth actually sort of stamping it off and sort of smooshing it a little bit. But just grabbing my vellum flowers now, giving them a bit more dimension. I'm just using my little scoring tool there and just sort of placing that in the palm of my hand and just giving a little bit of a squish. And that will just get the flowers to have a little bit more dimensions. But we'll put them aside and finish off the rest of our stamping as well. I did sort of play with the position, sort of just to figure out where was the best placement of those flowers, but you will see me put that aside. So we're just picking out our sentiment here. I really love the sentiments on this set. Who doesn't love a pun, right? So, you know, there's a have a peachy day and sweet as a peach, but we are using flowers today, so I didn't end up selecting that one. And I ended up going with let's celebrate you. So that way I can use this card either for a thank you or a birthday later on. It's quite a generic sort of sentiment, so I can use it pretty much for anything. And when I decide what I want to do, I'll stamp the inside with the like a happy birthday if that's what I choose to use it for. But you'll see me stamp off and just sort of play around and smoosh it out a little bit just to get rid of some of that residue. It's a bit sticky, so you'll see that here my image is perfect, so that's fantastic, and I'll put that aside. Okay, so with that piece done now, we'll grab our card insert layer, and I'm just trying to figure out the best position, and of course the train has to come past when I'm doing a voiceover, thank you. So I did have it cascading down, and I did stamp off just to sort of have a slightly coloured image. For the insert layer, I generally do like the images to be slightly lighter. Not sure if you heard the train there. Okay, so I'm just positioning my flowers now. Just trying to find the best placement for that, and I'm bringing in my the Fresh Freesia ink colour. So I did do a bit of a stamp off, and I realised that the ink pad's actually quite juicy. So what I decided to do is just grab a plastic spoon, and I'm just pushing that ink lower down on my sponge. Now you sort of have to be firm, but not so hard that you rough up your ink pad. I'm just using a plastic spoon, so I'm not doing a lot of damage, but just pushing that ink just so I can get a bit more of a crisper image. And I did sort of stamp off to the side over there just to check, but you can sort of see that it is quite juicy still, but I think it's not too bad. I think once I stamp it on, it will match the leaves, and just getting my positioning right. Now I didn't stamp off for this one because the Fresh Freesia is a bit of a lighter colour, but I'm still happy with how it turned out. Might have been a bit better matching the leaves if it hadn't been, but that's okay. I was going to stamp the envelope, but then realised the envelope's actually in basic white, so we'll skip that bit. Okay, so I'm just bringing back all our little elements now, all the little tiny pieces there as we put together our card. I think assembling is usually my favourite part of the card, just seeing it all come together. So you will sort of see me use the Tombow here. I'm just using my favourite take a pick tool. Love it. Now that I've got one, I don't think I could ever do crafting without it. So I'm just putting a bit of Tombow in the centre of each of the flowers, and just putting the Mango Melody little die cut pieces in there. Excuse the hair. I did want to make sure my centre pieces were sort of centred on the flower. So apologies for that. Okay, so I'm just putting all my little elements, the little flowers together, and I'm just putting that aside because I know that Tombow does take a while to dry on vellum, as we put on the other elements. But yeah, you will see me put on glue dots later. But just bringing back the card base in Fresh Freesia and using my bone folder just to give it a nice crisp edge. I really love this stitch greenery dye, you know, on the very vanilla. It stands up and it just looks so pretty. Now apologies, I don't know why the magpies outside are being so noisy. So guys, do you mind? I'm just trying to do a voiceover here. Keep it down, please. Okay, so bringing in my other card elements, and I will be using, I'll bring out my sketchbook here. So when I go through Pinterest or Facebook or Instagram, any of my socials for card ideas, if I see a particular layout or something I like about a card, I generally will put it in my sketchbook. I do like it because I do draw true to size. That just helps me making when I go creating to refer to that. Sketchbooks, I put all my ideas or even ideas for videos in that little sketchbook. Because you know sometimes you have these crazy ideas at 3 a.m. in the morning, and you just need to jot them down. So that's where I put my ideas. So just using Tombow now to glue on my card pieces. So Tombow is perfect for this. Just to make sure all my pieces are straight. There is a bit of wriggle room to move the pieces. So try saying that 3 times. Wriggle room. I can barely say it once. So let's just leave it at that. Okay, so I'm just bringing back my flowers now, and I'm thinking that I actually wouldn't mind a piece of bling in the center of the flowers. So I am going to bring in my 2021 to 23 in color gems, and these are gorgeous. Absolutely love them. So I did decide to use the Fresh Freesia one. So I'm not sure if you can sort of see, but I will bring it up closer to the camera so you guys can sort of see. But that just sort of finishes off that flower perfectly. So I'll do that for the next few pieces as well. So I don't know what I'm doing with my hands here, but whilst I'm putting the gems on the rest of the flowers, if you haven't done so already, please give me a big thumbs up if you like this video and would like to see more. I do want to know what you guys enjoy watching, and leave me a comment down below. I would love to hear from you guys. And obviously, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so you see more of my creative content. So I did say before I did end up picking the flowers off because they weren't sort of sticking to the vellum. I do bring out my mini glue dots just to, I find that they'll probably stick a bit better than the Tombow. So just FYI, for vellum, I think the glue dots work just that little bit better than your Tombow. So I did do it for all the flowers. I mean, I think if I left it for a few more hours, probably would have dried, it would have been fine. But I really did want to finish off the card for you guys. And I was just slipping and sliding a little bit too much for my liking, hence why I did end up switching over to the glue dots. So just gluing them on. And if you guys do create any of my cards, I would love to sort of see your projects. So feel free to send me an email at tomal, Tomal 288@gmail.com. I'll have it below in the description box. So if you do that, I'll definitely send you a card as a thank you. I love to see it when you guys create my projects, and I love it when you share that with me. So yeah, please drop me a line. I would love to see what you've created, and if you did a different version of it, I think that's fantastic. And thank you for those that have done that already. It just warms my heart seeing others make my cards. So okay, so now that those got glue dots on them, I'm just going to put them back into position. So I can't remember which way I wanted it, but I've put in my card insert just to sort of use it as a guide to which pieces go where. And that is now stuck on. So really happy how that looked with the Mango Melody center and the in color gem. Really just brings out that flower. So I think here I decided, you know what, I actually need a bow. If you saw my last video, I'm pretty hopeless at bows. You know, you think that with baker's twine it will be a lot easier, but I don't know, as soon as the camera rolls, I just can't tie a bow. But this is one of the baker's twine in the very vanilla, so matches perfectly with the card that we're doing here today. I don't think I actually went too bad today. I think it was a lot more successful this time around than my last video. But that just really finishes it off, so I'm really excited. I was like, love this. So bringing back my glue dot, and I'm just going to use sort of, I like to put it at the tip of my take a pick tool, and then just sort of give it a squish, and there you go, bang. And that just adds another nice element to it. So just bringing in my dimensionals now, and putting that at the back, just to give this card a little bit more interest, but also because we've got a few layers of cardstock behind. I think using that dimensionals just makes it a bit more flatter or even for the card when you stick that on. Okay, so we're just removing the backings of our dimensionals, and I do find a stray one around the house every now and then. I don't know how it flies off the table, but I'm just lining up my sentiment piece, and I just want to make sure I've got equal bit of card space on each of the sides. So I'm bringing back my card insert. I thought, oh, wouldn't it be awesome to have those little Mango Melody pieces on my card insert? Now they don't have a lot of dimension, so it's okay for the inside layer, and I thought that would sort of replicate the flowers on the front. So just using a bit of Tombow, I will look for that third piece. I'm short somewhere, and I'll put that on the third flower once I find that little piece. But yeah, I just thought that really ties in with the front picture. So I did get a little bit of excess glue, and I'm just using the other end of my pick tool just to sort of wipe that off. But telling you to take a pick tool, if you don't have one already, you definitely need one. Fantastic, and so such a useful tool. So now we're ready to glue our card insert on. So I had a lot of fun, and I really loved how this card turned out. So if you don't already, feel free to participate in these card challenges. It really does help you get your creative ideas going, and I'm really excited how this card turned out. A lot more prettier than I thought, but those three colours are gorgeous, with the Fresh Freesia, Mango Melody, and the Old Olive with very vanilla. So that's pretty much it, guys. Okay, so I really love how this card turned out. I'll show you guys the inside. Voila. Don't worry about the little piece missing. But thank you so much for watching to the end, and until I see you next time, guys. Bye.